Going live for the rest of November. Hi, I'm Steve the Missionary. I post weekly videos about being young and Catholic, and today I want to talk to you guys about the Feast of Christ the King. The official name is something along the lines of the Solemnity of Christ, Sovereign King of the Universe, but Feast of Christ the King. Feast of Christ the King is always the last Sunday before Advent starts. So usually that means it's the Sunday after Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving's coming up. Happy Thanksgiving. Tell me what you're thankful for in the comments. I like it because a couple things. One, it's cool to remember that Christ is king. Christ is in charge. I think Christ is all these powerful things. But the other thing I like about it is the political elements of the Feast of Christ the King. The Feast of Christ the King is kind of weird. In that Catholics are, for the most part, regular run-of-the-mill people who have jobs and houses and lives and families and politics, and they vote and they care about the economy and things like that, and they have their favorite politicians and the ones they love and the ones they hate. And the Feast of Christ the King comes in and reminds the Catholics, your love, your devotion does not belong to your country first. Your love and your devotion belongs to God first, belongs to Christ first. The one whose orders you follow before everyone else is Christ, then maybe your government, which is really powerful. This, our modern times today are kind of funny. We think that we are above the demands of our nation, of our rulers, telling us that we have to be loyal to them, but that's really not the case. We still have treason as a capital offense in our country. We still have all of these expectations of any citizen of any country, just as a king had expectations of any of their people, of their subjects. The Feast of Christ the King has a really interesting history. It was started in 1925 by Pope Pius the 11th. And Pope Pius XI was having trouble with the guy that was in charge of Italy at the time, Benito Mussolini. And because of all of the Benito Mussolini, on top of all of the secularization happening in Rome, or in Italy and in Europe, he created this feast kind of to just piss off Mussolini. It's like, I will remind the Catholics that Jesus is in charge first, and then you, which is a lot of fun. But I think that this is important for all Catholics in any political situation in any country. Jesus is in charge first. Jesus' laws come first, and then other laws. The United States is a very interesting case because throughout the history of the United States, right up until today, Catholics were not trusted. Especially in political context, Catholics were not trusted. We were said to be taken secret instructions and orders from the Pope. Jack Chick used to spread out the idea that the Vatican held a secret bank vault full of a computer that had every Catholic's name in it, so that it could radicalize us and turn us against our government. And the Feast of Christ the King is kind of interesting because the United States has been worried about Catholics for all this time, and Christ the King holiday shows up and says, yeah, maybe you should be worried. Yeah, there is a third of your population that doesn't prove loyalty to the United States first. It gives loyalty to Christ and his church first. And we are going to celebrate it every year, the last Sunday before Advent, which is right around Thanksgiving, one of the most important national holidays. So if you want to prove to the people around you that you love Jesus more than you love America, the Feast of Christ the King is for you. If you want to prove to everyone else that if you think that Jesus is better than any totalitarianism, then the Feast of Christ the King is for you. And if you are against fascism, the Feast of Christ the King is for you. I think it's a lot of fun. It gives a lot of fire in me. I will do a much bigger, more edited video when I have memory space on my computer. But until then, it's live videos until the end of the year. Thank you so much. Thanks, Ben. This feast kills fascism. I should have changed the name of the video. I'm going to do it. Thank you very much. Give me your comments, like and subscribe. I will talk to you all later.